we're talking about buyers and the things that are going on in that world with renters or buyers. And that's why today I wanted to talk about the myths, because the myths are crazy. I mean, and how do we expel those myths? You know, the biggest one being the no down, or the 20% down payment and stuff like that.
There's a lot with regard to buying, but there's some too with regard to selling.
Yeah.
One of the people that I was chatting with this morning, she's trying to sell her house, and
Trying?
yeah, and she's like, I don't understand. There's a house across the street that's $100,000 more than what she dropped it to.
Oh my gosh.
I think there's been 2 price reductions, and it's been on the market, I'm not 100% sure, a couple weeks. And she's like, what is going on? I think it's in Marshall.
It's in Marshall?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that there's a lot going on there. I mean, for me I could go back and I could look at it and see on it, but I mean to be on the market that long in this day and age.
Well, that's one of the myths, right? Like, I'm gonna put my house on the market, I don't really need to do anything about it, it's just boom, gonna sell lightning fast.
Yeah.
No, that's not necessarily happening.
And I know people still overpricing their houses. It just drives me crazy.
And hers was just built 3 years ago. It's 2020. I can't see how long it's been on the market, but yeah, like dropped. It's $450 now, and she said there's one across the street that's a little newer, a little bigger, 500 square feet bigger. That does make a difference. Well, does it make $100,000 difference? I don't know. But it's on the market. It doesn't mean that house is going to sell for that either.
What price is it? $465?
$450 now.
All right, water tower.
Marshall, yeah.
Okay.
How long has it been on the market? Oh, 53 days.
54
Oh gosh.
days. 54 days.
Yeah. Wow. So almost 2 months.
Yeah. that's
that does seem like a long time, doesn't it?
It does, and then yes. $213 a square foot, built in 2020.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's new, it's well cared for. I know her. She's very, meticulous about things. So, it's just interesting.
Well, the first thing I would do is I'd tell them to go look at their photos, because the photos that are in here are not good. Mm-hmm. They're not giving a full representation. I don't need a picture of a hallway. And then the first one looks like the house is sitting up on a hill.
The first picture, I agree, is not good. It's not even clear. You can't even really get a good idea of what color the house is from the first picture. So yeah.
And it needs to be staged, because there's pictures in here, there's items in here that just make this room. There's one of them with a bedroom where the bed looks like it's up against the closet.
Mm-hmm. The angles really can be a turnoff for people.
Kyle Broom. Kyle's a good agent with Badger Realty Team.
Yeah.
And so I'm surprised. But here's the thing is that I want people to know is at a price of $450,000, why aren't these professional photos?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't cost that much to do that. It's the investment, and it's going to bring in a higher value on this.
And some video, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah. If I listed this house, it would have professional photos, and then it would have the videos. But yeah, they're. Yeah. And there's a good example right there of using and Kyle, like I said, Kyle Broom's a good guy. I mean, he's a good agent. Maybe he just missed it on this one. But when I look at the very first photo, folks, and what I'm looking at is a picture of a multi-level house, 2-car garage, picture taken from the street, square on, but the way it's pictured, it looks like it's really up on a hill with a slanted driveway. I don't know if it does. I don't think so in Marshall, but.
Well, you can kind of get an idea from the side picture.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's up a little bit, but I wouldn't say it's up on a hill.
Yeah. And it's not about having the best photographs in the world. The photos have to tell a story. There's a picture where it shows the dining room into the kitchen and a living room shot all in one. I know what he's trying to do there, but you don't do that. Not for your marketing pictures. Your marketing pictures would be a separate kitchen photo, which there may be in here, and I just haven't gotten to it, because the pictures themselves don't tell a story at all. So it's a little discerning.
Discerning,
Discerning,
concerning,
concerning,
troubling.
troubling,
Get a thesaurus out.
frustrating.
Hmm.
I hate that word.
Actually, does anybody really have actual thesauruses anymore?
No.
Who needs that? Just get online.
I still have my one from college. This is 513 Water Tower Drive, $450,000 house.
It's a beautiful home. So if you're out looking, this is something you should consider. Honestly, the price is not bad for new construction almost. 3 years.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
I know it's been well cared for.
Sure.
Looks like it's in a good neighborhood. Marshall is not far away.
No.
And the taxes, I don't know, maybe the taxes are a little lower. I haven't taken a look at that, but
Taxes are for that house $5,300.
$5,300?
$5,300.
That's not bad.
No, Sun Prairie that would be closer to 7.
For sure.
6.9, 6.8.
So there you go. You have lower taxes,
Uh-huh.
almost new home,
Yeah.
and Marshall's not that far.
Right. The thing that bothers me is no photos. No photo, or no.
Very few photos.
Yeah, they need to reshoot this entire house, and it would probably sell in days. Now, why am I saying that? And people are listening, going, "Well, what's a picture have to do with anything?" Well, a picture's worth $1,000, 1,000 words.
Well, it's important because people do their shopping online first, and
Yeah.
if they're turned off right away, they're not going to set up a showing.
Exactly.
You got to catch them online, which is where the
gotta.
pictures and the video are
gotta.
so important. You gotta.
You gotta.
Yeah.
You got it. Hey, what's going on in Sun Prairie right now? 35 houses are listed for sale. If you went out looking on anything, you'll see the actives are at 35. Median price is $595,000. Of that 35, 18 are new construction, but really 6 are available out of that group that you can move into now. There are 17 existing homes with a median price, existing meaning they're there and you can move into them. This is not outside of the new construction, with a price of $595,500. The lowest being $345,000. The highest being $899,000. And the 2 homes below $350 right now are at 838 Barber Street. That's $345,000, been on the market 7 days. That's a concern. And then you've got 125 Garnet Drive, $350,000. That's been on the market 1 day. And so when I see 7 days for a house at $345,000, that's a bit concerning. But especially for Sun Prairie, because if it's listed at $350,000, it should probably go above that price. It'd probably be more like $4.25. But where is that? Where is it? 340. Oh man. All right, I got it. It's a 1960s house.
Which one is this one?
It's Barbara Street.
Yeah, over by the lady named streets. There's a Laura Street too.
Weren't we in this house? No, this isn't the one with the hot tub and stuff. No.
Oh, I'll take the hot tub.
No. We looked at it. It's going to have to be fully gutted and everything.
Oh, that one.
No, it's not it. There's a lot of work needed to this house. The reason it's still priced, or the reason it's still on the market, is the price. And also, it's a non-area real estate agent that's listing this. And I'm going to tell you right now that has a huge effect on a listing, because they're using Central Wisconsin MLS numbers on it. But anyway, so there are a couple of houses. The one on Garnet Drive just came on the market. It just woke up today or yesterday, and that's at $350,000, and it's got a pool and everything. The pool is what's pulling the value down, and it needs some updating. But the thing I want you to know is that the next closest after those 2 that are 345 and 350, the next closest is at 499,000. Takes a huge jump in the market.
What's the price per square foot on the 499?
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
No, I got you. I got you back. I got you here. 259. And it's a brand new house. 259. 259.
250.
250. Hey, condos, by the way, there are only 2 condos that are on the market. One on Blue Esther Boulevard, 384,900, and the other one on Bronzeleaf at 537. The first one's been on the market for 34 days. The second one's been on the market 35 days. Cost per square foot on Blue Esther is 171, and in Bronzeleaf is 218. So interesting. So the market, and the people have been asking me about the housing committee. You might have seen it on TV. If you've not watched it on KSUN, you're welcome to go to the KSUN archives and you look up housing committee, and you can see the actual meetings that are going on. In fact, I think it was a bit comical the other night because I have my water bottle with me and it's got a flip top on it.
Oh, you made a mess again, didn't you?
And I did this, and water came shooting up and hit me right in the face.
It happened here.
I know.
What? Mayor Esser was on, a week or two ago?
I know. They didn't see that because we weren't on camera. But
oh, they missed a show.
It was hilarious.
This is a dumb question, I know, but what is the difference between, because you sit on the housing committee, but then there's also the thing that I was invited to that's
Housing
kind
coalition.
of the coalition.
That's an offshoot of that.
Okay.
Yeah. There's the housing committee, and then there's the coalition.
And the coalition is what I attended.
I'm a part of the coalition too. I just couldn't make it that
yeah.
night. But so people have been asking me about it. So let me I put something together here, and I've actually described this as musical chairs, which I think is funny. But how does a growing, prosperous city stay affordable for all kinds of people? Well, at the most basic level, when there aren't enough homes, prices will keep rising, which we know, right? And when there are plenty of homes, it helps prices stay down. Well, right now it's like a game of musical chairs. And if you, as a kid, if you've ever played this, you get it, you understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Who hasn't played musical chairs?
I know, we should do
like
that
that's
as
a rite
adults.
of passage.
We should do that again.
Why not?
As adults.
Hey, that's an icebreaker.
That's a great icebreaker.
Hey,
you know. Hey.
You don't want to do drunk musical chairs though. That could get aggressive.
Well, I know you do that though once in a while. I know.
What?
Don't you do that at your house?
What? Drunk musical chairs
Yes.
with my teenage boys?
Yeah.
Sure. No. What are you talking about?
I'm just playing with you. Hey, so it's like a huge game of musical chairs. If there aren't enough chairs, when the music stops, someone's always left out. And when there aren't enough homes for people who live and work in the city, everybody has to compete for what's available. And that means if you're renting, rent goes up, and people get priced out even in purchasing a home. In the housing market, instead of being fast, I think you just need to be rich. No, it just means you have to have your cash and ready to go on it. But to fix this, we need more homes in all shapes and sizes. And it really means more cottages or homes, apartments, duplexes, triplexes, again, condos, and mother-in-law units, better known as an ADU, which is like the hot thing right now.
Accessory dwelling unit.
Right.
For people who don't know.
Or sometimes additional dwelling unit.
Oh,
But
okay.
it just depends on where you come from. So more houses allow people to stay and thrive in the community. It means more people can afford to live near their jobs, great schools, and transit. And so really, the housing committee, what we're doing is we're looking at ways where we're more encouraging a variety of homes that fit a variety of people's needs, and trying to find a solution to helping get rents down, and then also to help home prices adjust where they should, or slow down a little bit anyway. But the main thing on this with the housing committee is about affordability, and that's what we've been working on. So it's pretty good. I think it's going well so far. Affordable housing has been the main topic, but when you don't have affordable housing in Sun Prairie, that really kind of strangles what we're working on. But the other thing is that we have to create the properties. And I know some of you are listening, when I say the word apartments, you're immediately turned off by that. Please don't be. Stay in curiosity and seek to understand why it's so important to have those apartments. because we need that housing. You have people that want to live in Sun Prairie, the greatest city in the world, and has the great schools, great community, great bike trails, great parks, everything. They want to live here just like us. And so one of the means is the apartments. And so we have to build those. So the city council has agreed to establish TIF districts. And that way it gives an incentive for the developers to come out and build those. I wish we could do that for residential. If we could some way change the laws that allow TIF for a housing, for residential housing, that would be fantastic. But what we got, other things we're working on is really reviewing the zoning and how zoning is structured and setting that up, or reviewing cost for development and the impact fees that are a part of that. The impact fees are typically like a one-time payment that's imposed by the city to a developer, and that helps cover and offset the cost of things like roads and schools, parks, water, sewer, electric, all that good stuff. So we're working on that. And then we're also looking at some outside of the box kind of answers, some alternatives really. And if you go back and watch the show, you're going to hear a conversation which I was really surprised of, Laura, because the conversation was about the issues associated with all of the units at the elements and everything, just the deplorable situations over there with mold and repairs not being done, a non-responsive owner. And
those are the new ones.
No.
How old are they? Where is that?
The elements over behind Sunshine Supper.
Oh, right.
And so one of the ideas was for the city to purchase the elements.
And do what with it?
And to manage it, fix it up and manage it. Never did I ever think that I would hear those words out of Mayor Esser's mouth, but I'm looking at.
Can you say who is managing it now? Who owns
They're
it?
They're changing it right now. They're changing their managers, their property managers.
So there's a lot about this that I don't know, of course, but instead of spending the money on that, can we do something about maybe not who owns it, but who is running it and controlling it, and can the city spend money on other things that can actually help people who want to buy homes?
Here's the thing: is they need to protect the people that are there. Now, what's happening is the owner of this property, and the city's been in contact with them. They've had the inspectors out there for different things. He's had a variety of property management companies. The property management company's only as good as what the owner allows them to do.
Can we say who the owner is?
Can't remember his name.
Okay.
If I did, I'd tell you.
There's ways to control that. There's
they live
sanctions.
in Arkansas.
Well, why?
Because they can.
Okay.
I mean,
But they're absentee.
Okay.
Do they care really about the citizens, the residents of Sun Prairie? Do they care?
Don't know.
Or is it just about money?
Probably.
So the city can do something to hold them accountable.
Well, just whatever they can do, it has to be within the law.
Well, of course.
And statutes.
No, I want the city to do illegal things.
Right. But what's happening now is, and every time you find the developer or owner, who do you think pays for it?
If the owner is fined,
yeah.
I would think the owner pays for it.
Well, initially, but who pays for it overall? The tenant.
Why? Because they're passing it on in rent.
They're passing it on in rent. Yeah. And there's been some situations over there where people have been evicted without notice.
Well, that's obviously illegal.
Well, it is, but people are afraid to complain because of retaliation.
They're already evicted.
Yes, this is before being evicted. And then once they have the situation and they're addressing it, the next thing comes up that, well, you're getting an eviction notice.
So that's more a tenant resource center issue,
yes,
is it not?
And that goes into the housing coalition, and that's that whole component that the city and the housing committee and the coalition are working on to help educate the tenants.
Yeah.
For rentals. And then the second part of this is the home buying process. That people they have all these ideas, these where they got these notions or ideas, I have no idea.
Preconceived ideas.
Right. Myths. I call them myths
They are
today.
myths, yes.
and that we can help them address. And it's all through education.
It is.
But you got to keep telling them over and over and over again.
It takes a while for things to sink in. It takes a while for things changing in the market to catch up. It just does.
Yeah, it really does. And for everyone that says this, somebody else is going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to get away from that. And the last thing that Sun Prairie's doing, that the housing committee and the city, is how do we attract more developers, more builders? Because we need more houses. And that's the secret. So there you have it.
Well, I want to know why the suggestion is to stay in curiosity about more rentals, more apartments. We have a lot of those. We do not have enough houses for people to buy.
Because it's density. You can put in 300 units, 300 properties.
How's that solving our inventory issue?
Oh, you mean a housing, a way of a purchase in a problem?
Condos, whatever. Like, why are we building more apartments?
Well, condos
it bothers me.
Well, we've talked about it. Why not condos? Why not a huge assortment of condos?
Right, that's what I just said. Why
Financing.
not?
That's the big thing.
That's
Financing.
what
and
the
rules.
focus needs to be on then.
Sure, but that's
what
a
is
federal
going
thing.
on?
That's a federal guideline.
Well, federal, state, local. There's money to be had.
Sure.
And there's ways to make it more attractive for developers.
It's all bankers' fault.
Well, okay. I wish I had that much power, but I don't. Not
So
even.
what we're talking about, and we're being a little flippant here, but what we're talking about is that to do a condominium, there are different rules than like a single family home. If I went out and built 10 houses to sell them, those are easier to sell than to sell 10 condos. It really is, because there are things that the developer has to do and the project has to do just to be warrantable. That word.
Okay, but yeah, that's not a deal breaker necessarily. There's banks that will still lend on them.
Okay.
So.
Really?
Yes.
Who are they?
Possibly a Wintrust.
Possibly.
It depends. It really does depend. But there are local banks that will do that. That will take on a project and lend on it. So that's not a deal breaker. It's not. Let's not use that. There's ways to make this happen.
Sure. But you just have to have the resources and be knowledgeable to guide the person that's buying that condo to do this. But then again, we have nobody developing condos on a large scale in Sun Prairie.
No, because why? The money isn't in it for them.
Right.
Let's make it worth their while.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay. So.
Can you make that phone call?
Again, I don't have that much power. I just know, I mean, there's a lot of good that's going on in Sun Prairie. I love that there's a focus around housing.
You're fired up today, aren't you?
I am. I'm feisty today.
I can tell it.
Mm-hmm.
Who stepped on your tail?
Nobody. This conversation just keeps continuing and I don't have a lot of patience for like repeating things over and over again, like talk but no action. That's, I never have patience for that.
I hear your words over and over again, but so what's the answer? How do we create
Well,
action?
I think it was a good start. I don't know what the housing committee is doing, but the coalition meeting I thought was helpful if something is done with it. It was brainstorming in a group of all kinds of people, from nonprofit, from government, from private sector, from like anybody and just citizens even interested in affordable housing. So everybody was brainstorming about what are the top 3 things that we want to focus on.
What are the
How
top
do
3?
we go after them?
What are they?
Well, I'm waiting to hear. We all had we broke up into groups and had a sheet and stuck it on the wall, and so then whoever's in charge, Letitia, I guess, in charge of the coalition, is going to be determining what the top 3 from everything is. But from what I saw, it was education, and it was more about probably what you want to talk about with the rest of the show.
Yeah.
The myths. How do you get ready to buy a home? What is possible for you?
Right.
But you got to have the homes.
You got to have the homes, and just because you wish it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
No.
It doesn't mean that we're going to be able to create affordable homes in the style that we're doing it right now. I mean, to go out and to build a home on Town Hall with Habitat for Humanity of Dane County, I mean, there's a price to that. And it's in the 300s.
I just saw full
What?
contact musical
I
chairs.
know. Charlie Andrews, you're hilarious.
That was funny. What about his question though? I mean, it's kind of off topic, but get his question answered. Pools, do they pull down value? I think it depends on the buyer.
It
For
depends
some
on the
it
buyer, but in
increases.
most cases, yes.
Because it's a lot of maintenance, work, expense,
Yes.
and you can only use it in Wisconsin 4 months out of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I'd
can
love
only
to
use
have
my-
one.
I can only use my lawnmower 4 months out of the year, but I'm
That
happy
I don't
about
care
that.
about. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good thing actually.
Yeah.
Pools, no, not so much, unless it's a heated pool.
That's
Might be a
true.
little different. Anyway, that's funny. Let's have full contact musical chairs. Okay, anyway, yeah, so, yeah, we need education, but we need the people, the developers, and how do we make it easy for them? How do we get them to want to build condos, not apartments? I don't know what the answer to that is.
Well, I think it starts with an interactive government that is going to be able to approach and date those developers or builders, because it's not going to be you're there one day and the next week they're doing that.
Oh no, it's gonna take a long time,
Oh, yeah.
but we gotta start.
Well, Heyday, look at Heyday now. They're going to rent all those out that are out there.
What's Heyday, sorry?
Heyday's at the corner, at the end of Bristol and Eggery, or no, Bird and Eggery.
Oh, those, yeah.
Those, yes.
Yeah.
Those. They're going to rent those. Those are going to be, those dollar amounts are going to be huge. I'll be interested to see the rental prices, because I haven't gotten a response from people from Heyday yet. Let's talk about that.
What's annoying and frustrating is that when we talk about housing in Sun Prairie, the conversation seems to always be about rentals. And that's what, I'm not gonna say everybody, but I've heard it from
Everybody.
a lot of people. They're over it, they're sick of it.
Yeah.
We have a severe inventory issue,
Mhm.
and we need to solve that.
But we also have an inventory issue on the rental side. We have 1% vacancy.
Why though? Why do we have to keep saying this?
Be-
People wanna
because
buy, but they
why?
can't.
Well, we don't know that. We
They
know
do.
that they want to rent.
Let's take a poll.
Okay.
I don't gamble. I will
Okay,
gamble
we'll take-
money on
Okay,
that.
who in the room knows that they aren't ready to buy and they want to rent? Okay, me, 1 and 1. So there's a.
I'll
100%.
bet you a big percentage of the people renting want to buy. They cannot buy.
Why can't they buy?
There isn't the flippin' inventory.
Yeah, well, you can't just snap your fingers and the houses are going to occur, you know?
Of course not, but that's what we're talking about. Stop talking about this and do something. What are the answers? I don't know. I'm one person. I'm trying to help and volunteer, but we need people to actually start making stuff happen.
Okay, get them out here. Where? Come on, get them.
Don't know.
I know.
I don't know, but I know there's people that have answers.
You build them, I'll sell them.
If you build it, they will come.
That was hilarious. All right, let's get to this. Let's talk about these myths. In a little bit.
Okay.
So there's been a lot of surveys out there that have shown that down payment is the biggest obstacle to home ownership. In other words, people think that they never have enough money to buy a home, or they're going to have a 20% down payment, some huge down payment. In fact, you'll see some websites out there that'll tell you that the first thing you do is save your money for a down payment. Well, you don't need to do that.
It's not easy to do right now anyway.
Well, exactly. But you don't necessarily need to do that.
No.
Tell
You
them
don't.
why.
Because there's programs that require zero down, and there's programs that help with down payment assistance.
Okay, now, when you say down payment, what are you talking about?
Assistance for down payment. Told you I was feisty today. So there's programs out there.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
There's programs out there that can help people.
Is there really?
It is income based. It is dependent upon the county that you're buying a home in.
Okay.
So in Dane County, you can make more, of course, than in most other counties.
Make more what?
Around us, make more money.
Okay.
It's also dependent on the number of people in the household. The more people in the household, the more money you can make and still qualify for the down payment assistance. However, there's a caveat in there, so it kind of depends. If there's people in the household that are earning income, all household income counts toward that limit
Okay.
for the county.
All right.
So,
How much of a down payment can you get?
well, I'll tell you what's really interesting is in this market, it's been hard to get offers accepted. doesn't matter, even if you're cash.
Oh, sure.
So particularly for people who have like the programs that are zero down, and some of them are government programs, and for the down payment assistance programs. However, these programs are getting to a point where they're running out of money. So it's interesting, isn't it? That it's such a tough market, but a lot of these programs are facing, like, they're down to their last few grants or loans or whatever they are.
Because they've been the most difficult.
They have.
Properties to get approved.
Yep. Sellers don't want to deal with down payment assistance. And that's a myth too. So as we're talking about down payment assistance, I think a lot of it comes from listing agents. I hate to say it, but it does.
Oh, I agree.
Sellers don't know necessarily anything about down payment assistance unless they somehow heard about it or used it themselves or whatever. Most don't have a clue. So where are they getting their information from? The listing agent.
Sure.
What's the listing agent saying?
He's saying it might be a risk to accept this because of their addendums.
Addendums?
Addendum.
Okay, so.
Everybody.
No.
Everybody knows about it.
So no. I mean, any buyer can come with challenges, right? We don't know what those challenges are.
Well, look at the VA. I mean, the VA's got their addendum there where if this property doesn't appraise, you're done.
Okay, right, but the seller doesn't have to sign that until after the appraisal's done.
Really?
They don't have to. The amendatory clause?
Yeah.
I never send it until the appraisal's done.
Well, I didn't know that. I thought that has to be signed before. Why even sign it after the appraisal's already there?
Well, the seller doesn't want to sign it in some cases because they don't like that verbiage. But, I mean, whatever. If there isn't the gap built in there, and that's another reason for sellers, listing agents, to maybe advise sellers to not take a VA or a USDA. Well, they don't have money to back it up. So if they're saying they'll go 20 grand over purchase price, is the appraisal going to come in that high? Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe not.
If it doesn't, where's your cash that you can put up?
Right.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is a lot of people using those programs don't have it. So that's a reason to say, nope, we're not taking government programs. Next.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, the seller just wants to sell their house and get out of here.
They do, I get it. They want easiest, highest, best.
We know somebody recently, we personally know somebody recently just sold their house, and they sold it less just because it was convenient.
Yeah.
Just so they can get it done.
Yeah, not everybody's out there looking for 50 grand over asking price. Not everybody's,
no.
I shouldn't say greedy, but some may be. Anyway, some just want to just be done. I want a fair price, and I want to be done.
Yeah.
As easy as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
And less stressful. Less stress.
Yes.
But the thing is about the down payment assistance, there is down payment assistance.
Yes.
And there's not just one. Here's what I also want you to know about this, is that not every lender knows about this.
Or wants to deal with it.
Now, Laura sits on the Housing Roundtable. It's an incredible organization. She's been a part of this and part of the leadership of this for years, like a gazillion years.
Well, I'd say maybe like
12.
20.
20 years?
God, that's a long time.
I know.
Not quite. I'd say about 19 years anyway.
Well, 19 years.
Yeah.
So what that means about the Homebuyers Roundtable is that she has an intimate knowledge of where that those buyer assistance programs are hiding. And they're not just out there. I mean, you really have to do some digging if you want to do this on your own. And like I said, not every lender knows about them. They don't want to be bothered with them.
No. Yeah, I mean, it is more work. It really is. There's more that the buyer has to do as far as documentation goes, just because of the program requirements. But it's not that big a deal, really. It's like anything. If you're told what you need and people walk you through it, you do it. You have access to this stuff. It's just you have to provide it. And is it worth it? Yeah, because what if you could get 50 grand to purchase a home? Is it worth it for you to provide a couple more bank statements?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is. Heck yeah. So, but from the lender's point of view, we are the go-between between the home buyer and the program administrator, the one who goes through the paperwork and approves the funds.
Okay.
So we're the ones that have to be sure that all the paperwork is submitted properly, timely, everything is in there. Not all lenders want to deal with that. Is it my favorite thing to do? No. But do I do this because
you care?
I care and I want to help people buying their first home or their dream home, whatever. But there has to be access to affordable home ownership. And I think now more than ever, these programs are important, because here's a key piece that I always share when I talk about these programs. Some people don't have the down payment period, and I mean, some will say, well, people shouldn't buy, they don't have down payment. Well, this is where you stay in curiosity.
That's the old thing.
My mother actually said things like that when she sold real estate.
Well, she's old.
Even back then, I'm like, really? Do you want to help people buy homes or not? Or do you want to be judgy about it? So anyway, it's hard. Rent is high, right? And everything costs more.
Right.
And people have student loan payments. Well, not in the last year or two, whatever, because they've been in forbearance. But expenses are higher. It's not easy to save money. However, some people have money saved. They've got it in checking, savings, whatever. Maybe they're going to buy, maybe they need to buy a riding lawnmower. Maybe they need to buy furniture. Maybe they need to make improvements to the home.
Maybe they need to fix their fish pond.
Maybe they need to fix their pond. Yeah. Anyway, there's always things that come up. Maybe people feel comfortable if they have a couple months of reserve sitting there, because that's just smart money management.
Absolutely.
Maybe these programs are there to help people increase their price range, because look what's happened to property values.
Right.
If you could get $40,000 to $50,000, that's 2 price range increases.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Huge.
So don't assume that people are using these programs because they can't afford to buy a home. It is not true. That is a myth.
That's a myth. It's a huge myth.
Yeah.
I mean, we just recently had one. I saw this on Facebook, and I wish I could remember who posted it. They have a client that is a veteran that's using their VA benefits.
Yeah.
They're solid.
Yeah.
But they want to use their VA benefits because they don't have to put any money down.
And they have no mortgage insurance, so their payment is lower. Who wouldn't want to use that?
And they can't get an approval, and
Ridiculous.
They feel that it's because of the VA and their addendums in that.
No, it's because, well, maybe, but I think there's just another myth out there that government loan programs are difficult. I've heard over all the years I've been doing this, VA, those are really hard to get done. No, they're not. Who told you that?
No, I just go to Laura Stanfield and it gets done.
Well, I don't care who you go to. They're not hard.
I go to this lady, this chick named Laura Stanfield.
Chick?
Chick.
Really?
Just chick.
Anyways, it might have to do with,
young chick.
Because some lenders don't underwrite, like the processing and underwriting for those programs are farmed out.
What does that mean, the underwriting?
Underwriting, those are the people, the T-crossers and the I-dotters, they make sure that you and all of your documentation fit the loan program guidelines.
So when we send in all of our tax returns and our pay stubs and all that stuff, we're sending them to an underwriter.
You're sending them to the lender first.
Yes.
And the team, the processing team.
Okay.
And then they make sure that
What's the processing team doing?
Processing makes sure that all of our ducks are in a row. So we know that we're going to have your pay statements, your W-2s, maybe your tax returns, whatever it is. We know what the underwriter's looking for.
Okay.
So when we send a file in, we want it to be as clean and efficient as possible.
Okay.
So we want to be sure that we're sending a clean file into an underwriter so they can look at it, hopefully touch it once or twice. We don't want them touching the file 10 times.
Sure.
It just delays the process. So we send it in, hopefully they review everything, and then they come back usually with what's called a conditional loan approval. It just means, yep, your situation fits the loan program guidelines. We just need to cross a couple more T's and dot a couple more I's.
There's always something.
There's always something, but it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. It means you are approved. We just have to be sure we have all the stuff in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the underwriting side of it.
That's the underwriter, yeah. So
so people think that, I don't know where they got this crazy notion that these programs are just not a good fit.
Well, where I was going with that is that some lenders do not do the underwriting for those programs in-house. It's a third-party person, and sometimes that can get more complicated and lengthy.
It's another set of hands.
It is.
Wow.
It's an addition to the process. So maybe you want to find out, like, who does your underwriting for VA loans? Lender. When the lender's maybe calling the listing agent, advocating for their client.
Yeah.
That's maybe something you could add. Hey, we do this in-house. Like, we don't farm it out anywhere. It's not complicated.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But don't most of the lenders out there do it in-house?
Not always.
Do you know one that doesn't? Off the top
I
of your
know
head?
a couple, but I'm not going to call them out.
You're being
I'm not
so
doing that.
nice. She's so thoughtful.
Yeah, there are. There's more than you probably realize.
Oh,
And
wow.
this is maybe where some of the myths come from.
Sure.
Maybe it's not myth though. Maybe
Yeah.
it's reality. Maybe the last
Huh.
couple of VA loans they did, it was complicated and it took forever and there was a surprise in the end, you know. And it's maybe because the lender that you're dealing with doesn't necessarily have control over what a third party vendor says they do or don't like about a file.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But if it's in-house, we kind of have our team. We have our team of processors and underwriters, and we know each other, and we know, for the most part, we don't have a crystal ball or read minds, but we kind of know how things are going to go, and it helps. So that might be why, but another thing that we haven't touched on yet is the inspection piece of it.
Yeah.
VA loans, USDA, FHA, and the down payment assistance programs require a minimum housing code type inspection.
Peeling paint.
Peeling paint is probably the thing that turns people off the most. Because really, who wants to get up on a ladder and scrape paint
Right.
and
Well,
peel it
well-
or paint over it?
Well, that's later. I mean, so what we're talking about is if you've got peeling paint on a house, it will not pass all the requirements of those organizations she just quoted.
No.
So that means that the seller has to go out and paint it to get it to fit, or something else, something outside of the
Not
box.
necessarily.
I know, we have worked outside of the box.
Well, yeah, I mean, the seller doesn't have to do it necessarily. The buyer can.
But
Is it-
but it's prior to closing.
Not always.
Really?
Yeah. So
Another myth.
if it's a, there's so
It
many.
is.
So for the down payment assistance programs, I think this is really huge. If it's a conventional loan, but they're getting down payment assistance, the down payment assistance programs, not all of them, City of Madison, for example, will let the buyer do it.
Okay.
Whatever doesn't pass on that housing code inspection, the buyer can do it within 60 days of closing. Yeah, man.
Okay.
So it's no skin off the seller's
that one.
back. But not all programs are like that. This is
Okay.
why you need to work with somebody that understands this stuff.
Okay.
But it's not a deal breaker. So anyway, in a market where maybe we're seeing some shifting timelines and things aren't selling in hours, maybe sellers need to be aware of this. Do I have my CO and smoke detectors in place? Do I have hand railings on flights of stairs? It's a safety thing anyway. It's a good thing.
Sure.
Get it done.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be pretty. Just put it there.
Right.
Buyer can change it later.
Right.
If you have chipping and peeling paint, your neighbors are probably driving by anyway going, did you see that?
Could be
Yeah.
peeling paint on the inside too.
I mean, I have some that I've noticed, and
No
I'm like,
way.
I know, I gotta get on that. Yes, me too, me included.
Thank God you have kids.
But I'm not planning on selling.
Okay.
I'm part of the problem. Yes, I
Yes,
know.
you are part of the problem.
I know, but we've talked about this. I love my house.
Hey, here's another one. They say that the three most important things about buying a house is what? Location.
I'm not cheating.
Location.
Yeah, that's one reason why I love my house.
Yeah, it's location.
Neighbors. You can't control that though.
It's not always location.
It's not
But
always.
it's important to have one of those locations.
It's a key factor.
It is a
It's
key
not
factor.
the only factor.
It's not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. There's all kinds of things that sellers really could be
Sure.
doing, should be doing to make their house more attractive. You will, in theory, get more money, maybe.
So I'll give you an example of why location is good. So where I live over on Continental Way, which is right off of Patriot Way, my house is actually on Patriot Way. That gets me every time I talk about it. So where I am over by Liberty Square, they're building a lot of new houses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the house that we have isn't old, but it's not like 22 or 23. It's like, I think, 6 years old or something like that. And because of the new construction, the value of my house is going up, or our house is going
Thank you.
up. I know, I did that on purpose because I knew what you would say.
Hopefully Terry's not listening right
She
now.
is.
He did say hour though.
She is. She's coming to lunch with us.
Is she? Yay. Good.
So the location is just beautiful because all those values just keep going up, and I'm going, thank you, ching ching, ching ching, ching ching, ching.
Yeah.
You hear it. If you on a summer night,
You can hear the coin.
yeah,
thing.
sit out on the porch. Most people think they hear crickets. I hear ching ching, ching ching, ching ching.
That's good though.
Now across from our house is it's planned houses. How far out, we have no idea.
Yeah.
Right now we've got all this green and stuff, and we got deer and turkeys and
Enjoy
critters,
that.
some foxes and all that, but it's the location thing. So we're running out of time here, but let's talk about this. What are the things to consider when buying a home? Now, this is going to be the first one is understand your monthly cost. And this is where someone like Laura, when you're meeting with her and talking about your financials, she can help you with that. Because she's not going to let you buy a house that you can't afford. If it's above your means. You just can't go, I need a mortgage on this. Here it is.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the numbers tie in, right? Your debt to income ratio.
Right.
So it has to fit the program guidelines. But the way that I do it is more about what are you comfortable with. And then I can back that into how much house
There you go.
and taxes that
Sure.
might mean for you. But what I think a lot of people do is look online at the calculators.
Yes.
Sometimes people are like, well, why is my payment so high? Well, did you calculate taxes and insurance? Taxes are a lot. It's a pretty big portion of your payment. So you need to know all that, and do you have to pay mortgage insurance? Is there a way to avoid mortgage insurance? So there's ways, and I try to talk people through that, even getting the highest credit score.
Sure.
So your rate is as low as possible, and your mortgage insurance, if you need it, is as
Sure.
low as possible.
So she clicked on something. She pointed out something. Mortgage insurance. Here's what I want to ask you. So we know that people that bought a house back in 2020, 2019, their values have gone up about $100,000
Yeah.
in Sun Prairie.
Yeah.
The stats we pulled up last week, I just happen to have them here
Of course you do.
on my fingers as I'm talking. Chip. Oh, I lost that page. It's gone. I don't know where it went. About $100,000, like 34% increase from the time they bought it till now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, can't they use that value, that increased value, to eliminate that mortgage insurance?
Possibly, yeah.
And how do they go about it?
So you want to talk to your loan servicer and say, hey, I think I have 20% equity in my home. How do I get rid of my mortgage insurance? Reach out and ask. You should be able to go to your lender.
Sure.
If you don't know who your servicer is, but I would think you would if you're getting statements, logging in somewhere.
Hopefully.
I
Could
hope
be.
so.
So.
Hopefully it's somebody local, but just call and ask. Just
Right.
say. So, but here's the thing, if you made improvements, important difference. If you have paid it down to the point where, based on the original contract price or appraised value, you have 20% equity, that's the easiest way to get it removed because you paid it down.
Right.
If you're thinking your house has just now appreciated, and it probably has, and that's why, so it's worth more now, you might need to get an appraisal, maybe.
You might.
That's what you want to find out from your servicer. But let's say you have to get an appraisal, and like a full-blown appraisal with pictures and somebody coming out and all that. Let's say it's $500. But let's say you're paying, like $60 a month, $80 a month in mortgage insurance. You'll recoup that cost in a few months. So is it worth it to do that? If you're going to stay in your house a while, it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So here's you've already touched on a few of these. Keep an eye on the interest rates. Well, yes. I mean, you and your lender are going to do that. Here's the one I want to really point out to you is get off the internet and work with a local lender. The lady that's sitting in the studio right now is the most educated and knowledgeable and experienced lender that I know. I don't hang around with losers. How's that sound? I hang around with winners.
Be careful who you surround yourself with.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you're a winner, let me tell you. And so.
Well, and quickly on that point, you need to.
Me being a winner?
That's a different
Okay.
story, different show. With regard to the interest rates, there's been changes that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the big overarching entities, have made with regard to what rate you're going to get.
Okay.
So you need to be working with a lender that understands the changes, because believe it or not, you might be able to get a better rate by putting less down. It's not a sales pitch, it's a thing.
Oh my gosh.
It just is.
Who would think? You would think that you get,
it doesn't make any sense what it is.
Things. So you want to work with a local lender. You want to think about your commute times, where you're going to live, and all that. I mean, when I lived out in New York, near New York City in North Jersey, there are people that are driving 2 hours. into New York City.
No.
One way.
Nope.
And what they would do is that they were at the water gap, is what they call it, and then they would drive in and they would get to the bus line or the train and then take the train in. I just can't imagine that doing that. So you're
4 hours out of your day?
Sure.
No.
So again, when buying a home, things to consider are, what about the schools? I mean, we know we've got great schools in Sun Prairie. There's always somebody, a naysayer about something, but I'm telling you that we do have great schools in Sun Prairie. The community life, what's going on here? Prairie Athletic Club. If you listened on Monday, I had Pete Simon in here, who's one of the owners of Prairie Athletic Club, who just doubled down and invested again in the community by purchasing Prairie, or the Sun Prairie Golf Course, which is now Prairie Pine.
Prairie Pines.
Prairie Pines.
Yeah. There's that. There's the farmers market.
Yeah.
There's things going on in Angel Park.
Absolutely.
There's like all around town farmers markets, even on the west side, I think.
Right, check
all
it
kinds
out.
of stuff.
I love this one though. After you just said what's going on at Angel Park, take noise levels into account. Well,
Oh yeah.
And this has happened here in this town.
Oh yeah.
Because we know what happens every Sunday night in the summer.
It's a swarm of bees.
It's the bees,
Yeah.
right? And it's really the sound of summer. Is what
It
it
is.
But we've had
Yeah.
people. There's been a complaint on record, because as a real estate agent, we get to see the complaints that come in.
Oh.
That a buyer bought a condo over by Angel Park and was never told that they do races on Sunday night. Well, it's not a disclosure issue. It's not one on the state prepared form of disclosures.
It's one night a week for 4 months.
And it's a blast.
And honestly, that went through my mind when I heard the swarm. I'm like, it's summer.
It's summer.
We're past
Right.
Memorial Day.
Exactly.
That was what occurred to me.
Hey, here we need to speed up a little bit. Next one is get an experienced real estate advisor. Get a real estate agent to work with you, but one that's knowledgeable. And interview them, ask them questions, talk to them about it. And what are your strategies to getting me approved on an
Yes.
offer?
Yes.
How are you going to do that?
Mhm.
How many houses am I going to have to look at before I get one? Seriously.
50.
Well, I think Carol and I have looked at probably 20 homes, and we just haven't found the right home for her yet. It's not about the
It takes
offer.
a lot.
She's a cash offer.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got the cash burning a hole in her pocket.
You have to just decide that you're in it. You're in it
Right.
to win it. You're
Yeah.
gonna find one, but it's gonna take a while.
Yeah. And here's the last one on this list is what's really important for me, and I know it is for you too, is that have fun. Enjoy the home buying process. It can be stressful.
Oh,
and
yeah.
at times it is stressful. But if you've got two people, three advocates, three advisors that are holding your hand and guiding you through the process.
Three?
Well, three.
Realtor, lender,
And home inspector.
home inspector, insurance agent.
Oh, insurance agent, we can do that.
Yeah.
And we've surrounded ourselves with the best in the business.
Mhm.
So it makes it, we do that to take the stress out.
Yeah.
And so we want you to have a fun experience. And so you can talk about it. You'll never forget your first home you bought. You know, it's like you never forget your first puppy. It smells good, it's so soft and cuddly. Then they grow up into this nasty thing that poops everywhere.
Aww, that
Yeah.
doesn't have to be true.
Got a couple of minutes here. So to look for when you're buying a house, now this is different. The other one was considering this as buying. We already talked about location, price. What's the price? How do I know my price? Well, Laura's going to tell you that price. Home and style. Well, if you're getting up there in age and you probably don't want a multi-level, you want a ranch style
Yeah.
home. Again, your advisors can help you with these. What home amenities do you need? Do you need a roll-in shower? Do you need a tub? How many tubs do you need?
Do you
Things
even
like-
want a tub?
Do you
Or do you
want-
just want a shower?
Exactly. Do you want a 1-car, 2-car, 3-car garage? What are you going to do with that? Do you want a finished basement, unfinished basement? What do you want to do in the basement? Do you need a walkout basement? There's a lot of things.
Mother-in-law suite,
Sure.
accessory dwelling unit.
Again, we go to quality of schools, taxes, check the taxes on
Mhm.
it. You know, being in Sun Prairie and just going across Eggery into Bristol, your taxes drop a little bit. And that's why a lot of the bigger houses are out there. And size of the property, homeowners association. But most important in this part is utilize the advice of your real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
Your real estate agent.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was a lot, huh?
I know, don't you think?
Good stuff.
It is good stuff. We're gonna get. I just blanked her name. Letitia.
Yes.
We'll get her in here
from
and
the
talk.
housing well, really from Sunshine.
She's from
Sunshine
Sunshine
Place.
Suburb. We'll get in here to talk about tenant rights and also what's going on in the world of buying and purchasing and the housing coalition and how we can and help folks that want to buy a house. And so you can learn more about that. But really, most importantly, we want to thank you for listening to the show. Thanks for being a part of this. You're absolutely amazing. We really enjoy your ideas and thoughts, and please continue to share those because we want to get you the information that you're looking for. And Sunbury, we will catch me on Saturday at Farmers Market, bright and early at 7 o'clock. Stop down and say, hey, I heard you on the radio Wednesday. But I'll be right at the corner of Market and Cannery. And rain or shine. No, just shine. No rain.
Just shine. We're supposed to rain on Saturday, I thought.
Uh-oh.
Anyway.
Uh-oh.
Maybe not. Not during the farmer's market. Later.
There you go.
Yeah.
So until next time, we'll catch you right back here on the air on the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show. Thanks for listening. Bye, Sun Prairie.
Bye, Sun Prairie. Bye, all. Because everybody all over the world is listening to this, right? Not just Sun Prairie.
Thanks, Charlie.